Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the new Arturo Vidal to review today. So if you guys remember, I used this card's flashback card, and I remember saying in that review specifically that I really enjoyed using him because he was a more defensive-oriented, high work rated player, which I really liked on that card. So I think with the Summer Heat card, he's just going to be an absolute monster to use in the midfield because of him being a more defensive-oriented, high work rated player. But regardless, we're going to be trying out the different things because sometimes cards change a little bit because of the attacking positioning boost and all that fun stuff, right? So we're going to be testing out a few things here and there. But with Arturo Vidal, guys, we're looking at a card that is 5'11 with high work rates, 4-star skill moves, and a 4-star weak foot while being a right-footed player. So obviously, the best position would be to use him in the right center defensive position. But because he is a player that has the 4-star weak foot, he could potentially play the left center defensive position really well because I used him there on his flashback and he was awesome, right? In regards to traits, he does have the power header trait, which is helpful, to be honest, in certain situations. It's not necessarily a huge thing, but pretty nice regardless. I wonder if that dives into tackles trait, if that plays into the online and makes his tackles better, because that's the one thing you notice with this card the most from his base characteristics from other versions. So very important thing to talk about there. But in regards to his in-games, guys, he does have 88 acceleration, 87 sprint speed. He already has good base defensive stats. Ooh, an engine could be good on him, maybe. We'll see what's up with that. Shooting stats on the card, he has 94 attacking positioning, 85 finishing, 95 shot power. So all of that looks really good for shooting for base card stats. You don't necessarily need to improve it, especially since he's playing mostly in the midfield position. You know, 4-1-2-2, 4-4-2 setup, or even in a 4-2-3-1. In regards to passing, his base card stats for passing as well is really good. You don't necessarily need to improve that. Dribbling stats on the card has been improved, which is great. It'll make him a more responsive card in game, but you could potentially give him the engine if you feel like his defense and physical is already good enough because, you know, to be fair, they look really good. But for me, if I'm using him in the CDM position, I'd probably still want to boost his defense as much as possible. And we're going to be taking a look at some of the chemistry styles you can actually use for this card, because that's going to be obviously important. Defending stats for base card stats look great. Defensive awareness, I would maybe want to increase a little bit. Obviously, interceptions as well, because the fact that he is a 5'11 player, he'll be able to intercept the ball nicely if it's improved even by a little bit. And then his physical stats are absolutely incredible. So in regards to in-games, guys, to what I would give him, because his physical stats look really good and because I like his dribbling stats already for a midfielder, I would probably give him the Shadow Chemistry style. I think that would make the most sense because of the plus 11 for acceleration as well as a plus 10 for sprint speed, and then you're boosting his defensive awareness by a plus 10 as well. So for me personally, I just think it makes the most sense to give this card because he's a midfielder, right? I think his dribbling is already really good for a midfielder. I liked his dribbling on his flashback. Like, yes, he plays to his characteristics. They always will, right? But it's still improved by a lot, and it's still going to be incredibly usable for the CDM position. So I will be picking up that card for him specifically because, like I said, guys, he does already have the physical stats. You don't necessarily need to improve it, right? In regards to how we're going to be using him in-game, it's going to look like this. We'll be using the 4-2-3-1. As we normally do with balance instructions. I would say Vidal's going to be played in the right center defenseman position because I think it makes the most sense for him with the way that this team is currently lined up. So we'll just go ahead and put Griezmann there, Hullet in the middle. That's fine. We'll have this set up like this. So stay back while attacking. Okay. So, because I want to try him out in his best position, we'll play him in the right center defenseman position with the balanced instructions. Just cover center because I like to have cover center because it's not like I'm overcommitting with the fullbacks anyways. These guys will just put on balanced here. So nothing crazy here. And then target man stay forward. Yeah, we could do target man stay forward for say Max. I mean, why not? Because he's a high-low work rated player, I believe, so it makes perfect sense. That's going to be for the 4-2-3-1. We're also going to be trying out the 4-4-2 in-game. I don't remember exactly how I lined up. I think it was 5 and 4. And then Hole will just play on the side, not necessarily a big deal there. Say Maxman and Griezmann up top will be perfect. And then the work rates for the center mids is just going to be on Balance and Vidal as well. So we're going to try him out with the 4-2-3-1 for... Actually... For midfielders, I'd like to try out the 4-4-2 more than the 4-2-3-1. So let's switch to the 4-2-3-1 first, or the 4-4-2 first. I just have to make sure that the strikers are on good instructions here, because I personally like to stay central the stay central come back in the fence instruction. I feel like it makes the most sense for them personally. Because St. Maximin and Griezmann have really good off-the-ball movement, so it's not something I necessarily need to adjust to. So, let's try him out on the 4-4-2 with balance instructions. We'll see how attacking and defensive-oriented this card will be. I'm going to go ahead and buy the Shadow Chemistry style since I think it's the best one anyways, and then we'll basically go from there, boys. I'm kind of excited to try out this card because I really enjoyed using that flashback card when I had it because of him being, again, more defensive oriented than balance instructions. So he was just like really, really well balanced in the team, which I just enjoyed a lot. So it's definitely going to be very interesting to try him out again. This guy is going to be using a 4-2-3-1 with Bruno and Ndombele over there as CDMs, I think, or a 4-4-2 with two somewhat defensive and attacking oriented midfielders. So I think the 4-4-2 against this guy should be okay. Oh, should I cross goal? Without any momentum on the ball either. High work rates, guys, with the balance instructions. I'm noticing that he's definitely moving into space really, really nicely. I think he'll be a very good balance with someone like De Jong next to him being the medium high work rated player. You can see he's constantly moving up in those scenarios right there, which is very, very nice. I honestly think his dribbling is good enough. You don't need to you don't need to improve it. The engine chemistry style you could give this card for sure, but I just feel like boosting his defense as much as possible is probably mostly ideal. Makes that run right there too. You see that? So that's with the balance instructions, high work rates. He will make those runs. I obviously forced the ball to him in that situation because obviously he was being marked like crazy. But still very interesting regardless to check out on the card. So I don't have to trigger that myself. That's the important thing with these reviews is analyzing how a player moves when you don't have to actually trigger the runs. Because if you do trigger the runs, they just run in a straight line and it's not necessarily the most ideal, right? So yeah, his dribbling doesn't bother me at all. Like, it's actually, like, pretty good for the characteristics that he offers, you know? Yeah, he'll move into the empty space if he sees it. His acceleration with the Shadow Chemistry style is pretty good, too. You definitely notice the stocky build when he's running, for sure. But, again, with a card like this, he compensates so much for that stocky build anyways, because, look, he's already moving into the attacking positions again, right? He really runs inside that 18-yard box. Like, look at where he's positioned right now. He's switching with the striker. This guy's crazy. Ah, beautiful. This card's fun, man. He's a fun card, guys. He's gonna be a great card, man. The Shadow Chemistry style is gonna work perfectly. You can see, and even in a situation like that, the way he moves into the space, the way I have to understand to obviously go for the near post in that situation. I mean, the card's really nice on balance, right? It's great so far. This card definitely feels more attacking-oriented than the flashback card. You definitely picked that up right away, man. But that's okay because he's got the high work rates to come back in defense anyway, so... Okay, guys, so what I want to try out next, because he's really nice on the attack with the balance instructions, I want to see what happens if I put stay back while attacking on the card. Because here's the thing about stay back while attacking on instructions with a player that is high, and then a player that is medium high, is that they will still play to their characteristics, but they'll follow the instructions, I would say like 60% of the way there. So because he is a high work rated player, I want to see if he's going to be the type of person that I can just rotate with in whatever way that I want, right? So I'm going to try him out with stay back while attacking. I think both of them should be on cover center, so we should be good with that. I think with these guys, we're going to tell them to just be unbalanced instead of stay central, just because of the way that they move across the pitch. So let's try him out on the stay back while attacking for the 4-4-2, and then at some point in the game, I'll switch to the 4-2-3-1. So all of this right here is very important when he's out of position, right? So De Jong and Vidal playing off of each other really nicely on the stay back while attacking. They're very well balanced between each other in regards to their positioning, so that's awesome. Like in this situation right here, you need to see this balance. Will he block that middle space, right? He does well there, man. He stays around that 18-yard box semicircle area, which is exactly where you want your players to be positioned. So far, it seems like you will be able to rotate him however way that you want, which is going to be awesome for sure. Ah, so stay back while attacking. You could still see that he's more attacking oriented. Okay. Flashback one was definitely more defensive oriented. That's the type of stuff you have to check out. That's perfectly fine because, like I said, a player on stay back while attacking will still play very similar to their characteristics, and you can see that he loves to go up there, which is great because, you know, you can get some certain opportunities where you can score nice goals. I really like the way that he's positioned with De Jong. They're in line with each other. They don't seem like they're off balance, you know? Oh, man, off-balance shot. The ball was moving a certain way. A combination of his dribbling and the pressure that he had on him, right? De Jong with his medium-high work rates defends that perfectly, and then Vidal just stays in the middle in a great position. So for me personally on this card, stay back while attacking is great for him in the 4-4-2. I do personally like him on the balance instructions. He feels more balanced within the team, in my opinion, just because, again, he feels more like an attacking-oriented midfielder. I feel like he could be more defensive if he's playing in a 4-2-3-1 where he's an actual CDM. I feel like that would definitely make the difference on the card, because you can even see in this situation right here, the way that he pushes up, he wants to join the attack as much as possible. So you could probably score an opportunity here. And we do. Oh, we do not. The angle is a little bit far up, so it's either he scores it or he doesn't, right? So you could see, even with stay back while attacking, guys, he's still going to be an attacking-oriented midfielder. So the last formation that we're going to try out, and it's just very simple things to analyze, is going to be the 4-2-3-1 and how he plays in the CDM position with the balance instructions. Yeah, still super attacking-oriented. First time shot, nicely done. That's how you want to use this card. Balance instructions, shadow chemistry style, give him the acceleration, give him the sprint speed. He'll get into a good position on the balance instructions. You could totally use stay back while attacking if you want to use him as a 4-2-3-1. I'm just saying that, like, it's very noticeable when he plays on the balance instructions. If he feels better, if anything, you know? A weird animation choice, but he ends up defending that situation anyways. Oh, and it doesn't register the shot. How does it not register the shot right there? Oh, man, this game sometimes. Alright guys, so final verdict on the Vidal card is that he's freaking awesome to use, man. 296k for an SBC when you have like a bunch of SBC fodder in your club, if you still do. The card's going to come out at a really good price. I think he's at a really nice price, even at the 300k mark. I did notice that this card was more attacking oriented than this flashback version, which is very interesting to me. Even when I was using him in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2. In a 4-4-2 setup, if you have him on stay back while attacking, you'll still definitely notice that he wants to be more attacking oriented. However, I did notice that when I had him in a 4-2-3-1 setup on stay back while attacking, he played a little bit more defensive oriented than he did in the 4-4-2, which makes sense because of the way that the team is currently set up with Griezmann and St. Maximin up top, and the way that Vidal will start to occupy those spaces once they start to aggressively push up, right? So it does make a lot of sense with how he performs in game. But if you do want him to be more defensive oriented, you'll get that more out of the card if you use him in a 4-2-3-1, stay back while attacking, cover center, instruction, and tactic, right? I personally think that this card needs to be on balance instructions, cover center, because of the way that he moves around the pitch. 94 attacking positioning, all that fun stuff is fantastic on the card. If you give him an engine chemistry style, it could 100% be more ideal to give that to him than the shadow, just because giving him extra dribbling when he has a 4-star capability, and he'll attack the empty space, because look, you give him a shadow chemistry style, you boost his defense, yes, you boost his pace, yes. But the shooting is not touched. It would be the exact same thing with the engine chemistry style, but you're boosting the bounce by a +10 as well as the +10 for dribbling. always take into consideration that players feel very similar to their base characteristics, and his base characteristics is that he's not going to dribble like someone like De Jong. So even if you give him this engine chemistry style, he'll be more responsive, but he won't be similar to De Jong in regards to how he dribbles in game. I think the shadow chemistry style makes the most sense because I like his dribbling just as it is. I think giving him an extra defensive presence is always nice, especially for the defensive awareness. And then it's mostly the plus 11 for acceleration, plus 10 for sprint speed for him to run into the space instantly that I like the most. So I think the card is really good. I think if you guys were to do the SBC, you wouldn't be disappointed. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.